Good team, welcome back. The war in Europe is over. Yes, that's right. World War II is now over. It is 1945. I tell you, stuff to think about and stuff to do, stuff to think about and stuff to do. So let us have a look at the situation while we plan ahead. So if you recall, when last we were here, things were looking a bit grim financially. We had a number of issues, we had an awful lot of trains to replace, and an awful lot of costs for maintenance to absorb. Now, I have been through and I've done a little bit of work. And there's some things that I don't quite understand why they're happening the way they're happening, but we are working on what we need to work on. And I did say we do now have these machines over here, which is pretty good. Sadly, the places that want machines, Ashby and Shanklin, are over there, and we would need steel and we need timber. Timber is all the way up here in the timber plant, and steel is all the way over here. So we'd have to shift some steel. I'm not going to get into that just at the minute. I think we'll see how things go, shall we? Let us, for the meantime, have a look at our finances. So if we have a look at our finances, you can see here that we have had some income pickup, and most importantly, expenses come down a little bit. We had some expenditures, you can see where we've been replacing things, but overall expenses have been coming down. From here you can see that the roads are doing perfectly fine as they currently stand. The railroads, pretty good in 42, pretty good in 44, 43 less so. We didn't sell quite as much tickets, but maintenance was around 10 million. For some reason it was up in 1944. Can't remember why that was, or I don't know why that was. And the maintenance for tracks and infrastructure seems perfectly fine. Investments is what we spent. I guess 1944 we spent 5 million, but we did reap 3 million in profit after 16 million in tickets. But we did have to spend quite a bit, and we've totally paid off any loan that we had. In terms of lines and vehicles, the lines, Keswick bus line's doing okay. Keswick logs was a problem, but it's back up to earning again. Alchester bus is doing fine. Alchester cargo food. It doesn't really matter if it's losing a little bit of money, because it's not a it's not a massive earner for us. It's there to support the railway, really. Alchester bricks does make money eventually. That's just a bit of a dip. I have been keeping an eye on that one because it has been bothering me a little bit. I had to give it a tweak. The Keswick wheat is working fine. All of these other ones are working fine. You can see Dartmouth plastic. I've had to tweak that a little bit, but it's still working okay. These are the little oil trucks we now have. I'll take you through some of the stuff that we now have. The Intercity will make money, I am sure. They're not making nearly as much as I would like, and you can see here they're not running super full, interestingly enough. So it could be a speed related thing, could be a time related thing, not really 100% sure. Keswick to Alchester food will make money. Keswick Ashby goods isn't running. I took that out of the equation, and I deleted that because it was costing me nearly $1 million, and it simply wasn't making money. Now I know why it wasn't making money, but we'll get to that when I have a look at that particular line. All the other bus lines and things will make money. That's not a problem. Logs make money. This is the little plastic train, which is fine. It does make money. I now have 3 Keswick Tools trains to help supply Keswick, because we just weren't getting enough tools through. So and the trains were getting pretty long, so I had to cut them down in size, then add another one, so that's fine. Keswick wheat short, I had to add another train because Alchester just wasn't getting enough food. The Shanklin steel, those are new trains. They're I had those a lot longer, but then we had some steel production issues. I'll have a look at that in a minute and explain what went wrong with that. But I'm pretty sure they will make money. You can see that they're carrying an awful lot of stuff. If you look at the individual vehicles that form up all of those lines, most of these are doing fine. Ashby Alchester bricks. See, this looks low because it's fully loaded with bricks, but when it sells those bricks, it'll come back into profit. I mean, it's not making a huge profit, and it's probably to do with the length. But again, the line's been running for a while, so there. This is the Ashby to Keswick. What is this? Goods or something? What is this? Ashby to Keswick. What is that? Let's have a look. That pink one. Ashby Keswick wheat. That's the Ashby Keswick wheat. Is it? Why is it carrying goods? Why is train 12 carrying goods? Oh, I remember now. Sorry. A bit confused. I do remember. That's the one that's carrying goods to Shanklin. So I modified the line so that the wheat that was coming out of Ashby de la Zouch wheat goes all the way up, drops off the food, picks up the finished goods, and brings it back to Shanklin. So that's making money. That's not a problem. And the other one is making money. It's just for the time being. It's fully loaded, and when it'll make money when it sells its wheat. Some more bus lines. All the bus lines, which are local bus lines and intercity bus lines, are doing well. You can see we've been upgrading. And again, I said I'll have a look at that. You can see all this other stuff. The Dartmouth Oil Loop, Dartmouth Oil Supply, is back to making an awful lot of money, which is great because it's one of the engines of my economy. As it happens, this one will make money. It's fully loaded at the minute, so once it sells, it will make. The Dartmouth Plastic one, you can see 1.1 million plastic, making quite a bit of money for me. and a couple of other little bits and pieces. What's this? The Intercity talked about, because they're not running fully loaded at the minute. Keswick to Alchester Food. That one did make money, that one didn't. It's a little bit of a disparity there. I'm not really sure why that's the case. Everything else seems to be working fine. Some minor things with some of the cargo trucks and so on. Keswick Plastic, minus Keswick Tools. A bit low at the minute, but it will make money when it sells its final goods. Shanklin Steel, this one's dragging the line down. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So that's the current state of play. So we have, I feel like we have weathered a bit of a storm. Now, one of the things I don't fully understand is if you have a look here. So these trains are listed as bad, as you can see. But if you go into the vehicle manager, you will see if I'm on the train at the bottom, it shows the train as being in good condition. So I'm not sure why this happens. I've always taken the position that I just replace the loco, because the carriages, the cost of carriages all add up. This flat car here, and we've got 6 of them, is what is that? 116,000 each. And then we have these little box cars, which are also 116,000 each. And I've got, what is that, 11 of them? So that's over $1 million to replace that. So I think what happens is if I take these out because they're old and replace them, then that might change the condition. But the locomotive is actually in good condition. I just bought it. So I don't do I have that locomotive available anymore? No, that locomotive is no longer available. So when it comes time to replace that, what we can kind of do is we can see what it's worth to us. So where's the cheapest one? Is it this thing? 2 million. So if I hit remove, 486,000 is what that locomotive is or was worth. 486,000 doesn't seem like an awful lot for a locomotive. I'm trying to think what that locomotive was. I have a feeling it was in the 700,000. So it doesn't seem to me like it's in dreadful condition if it's worth 486,000. Is there another one of those which is in good condition and we can do a comparison? This one here, same loco, listed in good condition. So we remove that. 934,000. So that's like, it's $1 million loco, right? Is what we're saying. So $1 million loco, and it's sort of on 50-50. Where was it? It was this one here. Yeah, these. So I'm not really sure how this condition factors in, and I don't really have the money to experiment right now. Ashby Alchester bricks. So what I've been doing is having a look at the vehicles on the line and saying to the Ashby Alchester bricks, which is these here. So that one still made money. It didn't make a lot of money though, perhaps you might say. So maybe they are impacted by the condition a little bit. That could be an issue, but I've run across that a lot, where I go back and I have a look, and it says, you know, the locomotive, this one for example, it says it's in bad condition, but it's train 5, but it's actually making quite a bit of money for me, and it says here it's in excellent condition, and it's worth 611,000. So I'm not really sure how these condition things factor in. It's a bit weird, or should I say perhaps not as straightforward as I initially thought. So I'm not sure what the story with that is. Anyway, moving on. Steel. So I was having problems with the steel because I couldn't figure out what was going on, because I'm not joining all the dots together. So we weren't producing enough of these goods. So the train that was running down to Ashby de la Zouch carrying goods was running down practically empty, if not empty, most of the time. So it was really just costing me an awful lot of money and not making me any money. You can see here that we still don't really have a lot of goods. We've got 60 goods. But that's not a full platform, you know. So we're not even talking here. And what you can see here is plastic, fine. Steel, no steel. We don't have enough steel. We're just not making enough steel. And I was wondering what was going on. And I'd assumed it was the trucks moving the steel, but it wasn't the trucks moving the steel. It was the plant manufacturing the steel that was the problem. So this here is currently running at 24. And the trains that were moving steel, each one of them could move, you know, like 50 or 60 each. They were huge, but the problem was these small trains were in such bad condition, rocketing backwards and forwards, that we just weren't getting enough raw ore into the plant. So you can see here that we don't have really any storage, and in terms of production, we're pretty low. 42 out of 200 is pretty low. And these little trains here that I now have running along, I had to replace these. These are a downgrade to what was running. I mean, they're doing 40 kilometers an hour, but especially this one, it's a bit of a long journey. So I've managed to be able to afford to add one more train into the system, so we're producing a bit more. I'd like to add another train into the system, really, but the issue that we have now, obviously, is that this little loco doesn't exist anymore. So we've now got these other locos in place, which are worth quite a bit of money. So that poses a little bit of an issue for us, because things are going to get more expensive, not less expensive, and we've had to eat our way through an awful lot of income to replace trains. So we are by no means completely out of the woods, but they're certainly thinning or something. So what do we do from here? That is a big question. But anyway, let's have a look. I want to look at a couple of things for you. the first thing is, where's the nearest train depot? I have a train depot down here. You're gonna have a look. You've kind of seen anyway, but you can see what we've got in the train department. So we've entered the electrical age, as you can see, and we have electrically powered trains. Now, they produce less emissions, which will help the growth of our cities. But the problem that I've got is they're kind of expensive. Although that said, the maintenance on this one is only 451 a year, and the maintenance on this one is 617. But you know, the maintenance on this one's $1 million a year for this crocodile thing, which is fine. But we need to be able to afford that. So most of these are really, they're very maintenance heavy locos with a lot of cost. They do run fast, right? So this is the Flying Scotsman, 120 kilometers an hour. And it's like, woo, okay, that's a mover and a shaker. It would be great for the city lines. It's 6.2 million to buy, and it's $1 million a year. You're going to need to make a lot of money on those lines. And they're currently just kind of doing okay. Whether the speed accelerates that, I don't know. This one looks pretty good because it does 125. And it's an inherent passenger train. So you can see it's an express train car. So this actually does 20 people, which is great. So you get your loco and your carriage in the same bag, which would be pretty good. The rest of the locos are just locos. Obviously, this one does 100. That one does 90. The 100 one is 8 million. This one is you know, more, etc. And what could we do? You know, we've got like larger train cars, which is also fine. You choose your cars, reduce maintenance, and so on. Most of the cargo stuff is exactly the same. Nothing's really significantly changed. These cargo units tend to last a long time. We've got some bigger cargo units, but they do cost more money, and we have been battling that, which has been a bit of an issue. We go into the road depot side of things. So there's no more of those funky little cars anymore. It's basically diesel all the way. So the latest that we're rocking around is the city bus, the sour t-shirt, which is fine. And we have the buses, like I said, the trucks, sorry, to carry cargo. So I couldn't figure out, for example, why in Keswick we couldn't fulfill the need for fuel, even though we were carting fuel. And the answer was these little trucks to cart fuel. So the trains that were going down to Ashby de la Zouch and bringing up fuel. Which reminds me, are we still running that Keswick fuel line? Because I don't think we're delivering fuel. I'll need to have a look into that. So yeah, so we've got little fuel trucks that move fuel. We've got a variety of little cargo trucks, which are all great. You know, tarpaulin trucks and what have you and thing. I just kind of update those as is and as were, because it's not really such a big deal for us at the minute, which is all well and good. In terms of trams and depots, we've lost the little trams, but we do have a larger version of a tram coming along, which is fine. And again, I just replaced those as and where. The tram lines seem to be doing fine, seem to be making a bit of money. I think this is an intercity. Alcester Keswick bus and the Keswick to Shanklin bus. So the intercity bus lines are still very popular. The internal bus line only has 3 people. That could be just because a tram has just headed off down the road or something. Yeah, this one maybe. So the internal bus lines, they seem to be making money, but not making a huge amount of money. There's not a lot of people waiting in particular in Keswick anyway. Dartmouth, possibly a little bit different. No, Dartmouth to Alcester, it seems to be all about the intercity buses, and that's all well and good. So we got all that going on. Planes. I was having a look at planes until I saw this. 10 million just to build an airport. You can see over here the reason it's doing that is it's taking an enormous, great big chunk out of the side of that hill for a landing strip, which is, you know, it is fine. So it's like 6 million, 5 million, 5 million for a basic cargo airstrip. So that's not cheap. I have no idea. There's no way of knowing from this information that is given here what the maintenance cost of that is. It's one of the things that we don't get. We don't get when we look at buildings. It doesn't tell us what the maintenance cost is. It just tells us that's what it costs. So I know it's going to cost money, but the fact that it's 5 million to start with means it's going to be a lot of money, and you obviously need to build 2. So that's 10 million, and then you need to buy the planes. And I can't show you what the planes look like because I'd have to buy the airfield to show you what planes are available. There are planes available. You can take my word for it. I see it crop up. It says this plane's available and that plane's available, and it's all well and good, but we simply don't know exactly what's available when. Anyway, that is the state of play, and I have waffled on again for quite a while. It just seems to take quite a while to fill you in on what's happened. What I need to do is I need to continue on balancing out some of these lines and upgrading a few things. I really want the steel to flow. It seems to be the one that's kind of bothering me at the minute, is the steel. I'd like the steel to flow better than it's currently flowing, so I need to do that. I'd like the tools to flow. You can see we haven't got a lot here. I'd like the tools to be flowing a little bit better than it's flowing. The food is doing fine. The wheat is doing fine. The oils and the fuels probably need a little bit of help, but I think it's doing okay at the minute. The plastics down here are doing swimmingly fine, so that's all good. I just want to get some of these other things working, and I want to get a little bit of cash of money together so that I can put this cargo hub thing in place. I'm trying to think about how that cargo hub might be served by an airport, or you know, the cargo hub itself is also a central hub for cargo to be transferred from trains to plane. But I need to have a think about that, obviously, because that's a bit of a drama. So like I said, waffled on for a bit. I'm gonna let this run possibly another 10 years or so until 1955, given the way that money works and the time it takes for this stuff. I've also got some trains that will need replacing and so on, so we'll keep an eye on that. So we'll see how we go, shall we? I'm no longer very confident in the amount of money that we're making, so I need to get my confidence back on that and be quite happy that all these lines are making a sufficient amount of money. So I'm going to carry on, and I'll bring you back when I'm happy-ish. So hello again. I've blacked out the year. What year do you think it is? What year do you think it is? Go on, what year do you think it is, eh? What year do you think it is? I'll show you. It's 2005! It's the year 2005! Oh my gosh! Oh, why is it the year 2005, LJ? What the heck is going on? Well, we had problems. It's probably fair to say. We had some problems. So if we go and have a look back, you can see that there's an enormous, great big plummeting hole in our finances after the 1950s, and it doesn't really start to get better until the 1980s. 30 years, I tell you, 30 years. At this point, I've given up on anything approaching real life. It is what it is. The time is what it is, and I'm just not going to mention it. It took so long. What happened? Well, essentially what happened was I had to dispose of all of my trains. They were all just in such bad condition. Replacing them was just not an option. So so they were all disposed of. So I got rid of all of my trains, and I improved all of my bus lines, which all started running. So look, I've improved the roads. So we've got these lovely, great big highways that carve their way around the map. They do a loop. There's a loop around the map. So we've got these lovely bus lanes, and I've got my lovely buses running up and down the bus lanes. This is one of the older buses. Where's my newer buses? It's always the same. When you want to find a newer bus, you're never going to find one, right? Hello, buses. It's a train. Is this a newer bus? Yeah, this is one of my newer buses. So, so I've got my intercity buses running, and it's not packed, but it's not bad. There's a lot of people in there. So I've got my intercity buses running, and there's a loop, a motorway, an M25, as it were, that goes all the way around the map and connects all of the towns. So I've got Dartmouth to Ashby, Ashby to Shanklin, Shanklin to Keswick, Keswick to Alchester, Alchester to Dartmouth. So all of the intercity links are working, and they've, to be fair, always made me money. The town bus services, I've pretty much got rid of them. They weren't making me any money, so I just stopped. The tram services, I got rid of them. So I got rid of all of those. I got rid of all of my trains, and I started from scratch again. And I started from scratch with oil. What are the things that make the most amount of money? Oil, and oddly enough, bricks. So oil and bricks saved my life. So I set up oil trains, and I've got newer oil trains. You can see we've got electrified lines down here. This is a diesel train. This isn't an electric train. We'll get it. We'll upgrade it to an electric train. I'll show you the prices of the trains. It's just crazy. So we've got these trains which are supplying the oil loop. We've got the intercity commuters are these things. It's all I need. I don't need that much. These don't fill up. Surprisingly, they make me money moving people around the map. I've only got 2 of them, and they're never full. So I don't know what the story with that is. But anyway, they're making me money. This is another oil supply train which is helping supply. It's running from the refinery out there. The plastics is on the way out, so I've deleted all of the line and everything associated with that. The goods factory disappeared, so I've got no use for plastics anyway. I've got steel here, and I've got steel here, and I've now got machines. I haven't got into machines yet, but I have started up the steel manufactory again, so they are now loading up with goods. You can see they're starting to get goods together, but I haven't actually started shipping anything, which reminds me, I was wrong. I was wrong to ever doubt. So this guy's making me 2.3 million, which is good. I'm not selling product, so you don't need. You remember way back when I said you need to have a closed loop or a complete loop of production? You actually don't. You don't. You won't see the goods produced, but you will still get money. So I'm still getting money moving stuff to and from here. And there's only one train, and he's making me 2 million. So I was wrong about that, and that may have steered me wrong a little bit at the beginning. So you can make money from just little supply routes. I have this thing being serviced now. I was trying to use this, but for some reason it's very slow. So although it's a very short distance, it wasn't producing a lot. It's actually better to take it from here, which appears to produce a lot. Maybe it's the size of the farm. It doesn't look like there's much difference. But this farm just seemed to be... I don't know, it just seemed to be very slow at producing for some reason. So anyway, I've got a food line, and the food line goes back to Alchester. I've got the tools line working. I've got 1 log truck. I've got 1 tools truck, I think. 1 timber and tools truck. But they're much larger now, so they can carry much more product. So I don't need as many trains. I just need larger trains. So they're carrying larger products. I'm not doing the central logs at the minute. I've left it as it is, but I'm not even sure I'll need it. I will probably need it at some point, but I don't know exactly when and or how I'm gonna need it. Yeah. Anyway, it's currently sitting as it is. So I've got bricks. I've got steel. I've got a goods place that has just come up outside here. So I now need plastics, but my plastics factory is going to disappear on me. And I've already decommissioned all the railway lines, so I'm just going to let it go. Just going to let it go anyway. I've got other things to work on. It'll come back. Let's get the machines perhaps running amongst other things. So that's what I've been doing, which has been a lot of things to do. And I've spent a lot of time watching things and a lot of times doing things. So if we go and have a look at this, all of these are making money. So that's what my time has been spent doing, getting all these road lines, which there's a few of, but all of these train lines. 4 million Ashby to Keswick food made me. That's a lot of money. What's this? 2 million? 2.3 million Dartmouth oil loop. So yeah, so I've been concentrating. Shank and Steel Raw, 2.3 million. I've been concentrating on getting these things working. The other thing I've really been concentrating on is maintenance and supply of trains. So all of my trains and all of my buses are in at least good condition. Because whenever they drop down a condition, I move ahead and I improve them, and I move ahead and improve them, and I move ahead and improve them as much as I can. So that is really, really helping. So that's what I probably really should have done in the first place, is grow a little bit gradually. I think I got a little bit carried away. Again, let's have a look. Where are we? That's all roadworks. Where's my train works? Let's have a look at the trains first. Oh, listen, here's the thing, right? So I've electrified the line because my intercity passenger loop, which goes around, is now electricity, is electric. Not all of it is, not all of the train lines are. This isn't electric. But I'll have to be electrified if I want. And these are all high-speed lines, by the way, because our trains now do up to 125 kilometers an hour. So if you really want this train, for example, if we take a look in the cockpit, if we really want to go quickly from A to B, this is the way to go. So we're doing over 100 kilometers an hour. This is how we get around the map quickly. That was up to 120. So up to 120 kilometers an hour, you want to get around the map fast, right? That said, if you have a non-electrified depot, which is what this is, and you run an electrified line up to it, it doesn't connect to the depot. You have to delete the depot and build the depot in again and connect it to an electrified line. I can tell you that is a significant pain. It took me so long to figure out what was going on because I was trying to figure out why my trains wouldn't exit the depots. It took ages. Anyway, that's the reason why. So do be aware of that. Depot, electrified, this little link. You cannot modify this little link, right? You have to delete the depot, or when you first build your depot, build electric in. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, let's have a look at what we can buy. Locomotives wise, we've got a variety of things. We've got some diesels, and I'm using some diesels, which is to be fair, because the diesels are cheap. This tiny little thing hardly moves at all, and I need to replace, I think there's one more kicking around. It's cheap, 1.1 million, but by gum is it rubbish. 15 kilonewtons tractive effort, 96 kilowatts power. Compared to this thing, which is the next one up. No, this one's the next one up. 809 kilowatts, 177. This thing doesn't go anywhere. If you can get it to do 90, it's a miracle. So anyway, there you go. So we got the big diesel, big pulling diesel, which is fine. This thing's going to run out in 2010. These are all into the 20s now. I've been using this little diesel puller. He's kind of very handy too. You start to get into electric trains, 12 million a piece, 30 million for this bad boy. This is an electric loco, 6-axle electric loco, fast passenger traffic. Yeah, 30 million. It's more than an airport for that. It's twice. That's four. What is it? 6 times as much as an airport. I don't understand the pricing. This is another little chugger, little diesel chugger. Moving on up to some of the larger electrics again. 16 million. 7 million for another diesel chugger. And then you start to get into the wagons and things, and they're all very interesting. And they look like modern rail cars, don't they? So they look like modern rail cars. And wagons that are all different sizes. You remember when wagons used to have a capacity of 4? Now they have a capacity of 13, which is fine. This has 15. This is the larger boxcar wagons, but again, 2 million a piece. Yoinksy. It's not bad because, yeah, you can move more stuff quicker and you make more money, which is fine. So if you can upgrade and you can afford to upgrade, that's good because they do kind of pay for themselves. You know, we got this thing with the capacity of 20 and so on. So large oil tanks. This crazy thing, which is this bi-electric, whatever you may call it, capacity of 57 people. I can't find capacity for 57 people. We got starting to get into bullet trains. This is the French high-speed train. 300 kilometers an hour. 144 people, 58 million. I don't need that many people. I just don't need it. It's great stuff. 69 million. Honestly, we haven't reached the Japanese bullet train era yet. But, pardon me, that's some fairly serious money for some fairly serious trains. Vehicle-wise, where's Dartmouth? Dartmouth is down here. Vehicle-wise, this is the road depot. Buses and such, like modern, you know, tankers, trucks, things, diesel trucks and cargo trucks and stuff. Whether it's worthwhile moving stuff by road, I still don't know. Tower blocks. After my experiences with the other road stuff, I'm not so sure. Trams are what they are. Trams are what they are. They're just, again, people don't seem to really want to drive around my towns. I don't really, or move around my towns. These are the pardon me. These are the intercity links down here that are really busy. Which is fine. You know, I could almost put another bus on there. 46 people. Anyway, that's what I have been doing. Basically, I went all the way back to 0 and started again in the 1950s. And if I'd done it sooner, I probably would have brought you back in sooner. But I was just so uncertain about how it was all going to pan out. We're now doing fine. 28 million in the bank. We can do some things. One of the things I want to do is I want to do airports next. I want to do an airport. I want to do an airport out here for tools. And, you know, we could always use it for oil depending on where the next oil thing comes in. It's only 4 million. So I think we want to try and... we want it to be close enough to town. We'll probably have to do cargo links and things. We can probably do that by truck. Or train, whatever. But we could put it there. 5 million. Boom. Right? And that's our first airport. And what we'll probably want to do is we probably want to have a look at 2-lane street. So we probably want to start like right about there. Do like a 2-lane street outside the airport. Need to make sure it's connected. It's connected. And then we can could we change it into build mode? Change build mode. Bend. No, just bend. Bend over. Right, okay. And then we'll just do a straight one there. And that kind of connects that up. So that's our first airport. And what I want to do is I want to put an airport up here that I can then get the goods from this place. I wonder how. I want to see if I can connect it with a road. The town didn't matter because, or the town mattered, sorry, because of emissions. But this might not. Look at that. We're a bit close to the mountain. There you go. 4 million. 4.9 million, and that will pick up all the cargo, which is great. So if we were to do that, we could then set up a cargo route, and we could say we're going to add a cargo route from there, from Alcester Airport to Dartmouth Airport. And what it's going to pick up is it's going to pick up tools. And currently he's not going to be unloading anything. Anyway. And when he gets to Dartmouth Airport, he is going to unload tools. Right? So that's that. So we've got a plane route going. I am aware that these guys want fuel and that's an airport, and look, we'll get into that at some point, but that's by the by. What we will need to do though is we will need a hangar to buy aircraft. So we'll plonk a hangar on the end there because it's a fair enough place to plonk a hangar, and we'll have a look at what we can buy. We can buy the Shorts 330 C23 Sherpa for 2.94 million, which is fine. We can buy one of those. We can buy two of those. Why not? We'll buy two, and we'll see how we go. So what we want this guy to do is we want him to bring us tools. Now, one of the things that we'll need, obviously, for that is we will need a truck station so that we can realize that we can pick up the goods. So we will also do that to... I wonder who wants the most amount of goods. Let me just check. This side does. That's quite a bit far. But with this drop-off station, I don't know how much, because we can't change how much he drops off, can we? So we might have to do two little stops. We can do a stop there, and we already have a stop down there. So what we'll need is we need two little lines. So that needs to be renamed as what is it? It's Alcester Dartmouth Tools A, right? And that sets it apart as whatchamacallit, aircraft. So this line, I'm gonna send this line here. Upper Dartmouth. He's only gonna pick up tools. And at this one, he is only gonna unload tools, and that will be Dartmouth A tools 1, right? And then we'll do this one to down here. And Upper Dartmouth, he is only going to load up with tools. And Dartmouth Transfer, he is only going to unload tools. And we're going to call that Dartmouth A Tools 2. right? Excellent, Smithers. What we do is we then get a couple of little trucks. What's a small little truck that'll carry tools? All cargo. This thing. Tarpaulin the man, tarpaulin truck. We'll buy 2 of them. And one will go on Dartmouth A Tools 1. And one of them will go on Dartmouth Tools 2. And that's fine. And we'll go and have a look at these, these planes. And one of these is going to go on that one. Well, they're both going to go on that one. And we'll wait for him to go. Right? Short Sherpa. My dad used to work at Shorts, just by the way. Bombardier, you should call them. Yeah, he used to help build these things. Famous little planes. Anyway, there it goes. He's going to go off. And it always takes them a while to realize what they're doing. It's kind of like they go to the cargo place, which is way over here, and they have a chat with him. And they go, "Hey, mate, did you know we're here for some tools?" And the guys at the go, "Here for some what? Some what's now? Tools now, is it? I didn't know we was selling you tools. Go back and ask them if they're right." And then that's what happens. And it takes him a while. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't leave with anything. I can't select this guy. Pardon me. Right, he thinks he wants people in a cargo airport, which ain't gonna happen. Does this? Have I bought the wrong plane? Because this plane very definitely, it says all cargo, right? So he's like, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about." Here comes the next plane. Let's see if the next plane is figured out he's supposed to be loading up with tools at a cargo airport. Because that's what this is. Sorry, let's grab him. Not people, mate. Cargo, mate. You're a cargo plane flying to a cargo airport. If you could pick up some tools, that would just be great. Yes, there you go. 1. Well, it's a start. it's a start, and we've started with 1. So they're starting to supply this place, and this place is working on it. So we'll see how it goes. But we've got airplanes flying in the sky, which is fine. So we'll have a look. What's wrong? Train 5 and train 9 are mutually blocked. How did you end up there? Oh, you're so very long. But you're not mutually blocked, though. You aren't mutually blocked. That's what that's there for, you see. This is another thing. When I changed the lines and electrified the lines, a lot of the train networks fell apart. Man, did I have a time trying to get trains to recognize that they could go different ways through the station. So I think this guy's not even... Oh no, he does drop off here. So this is just, this whole station needs longerified, because look how long this train is. Now the thing is, he should ideally, hopefully go there. What I might be able to do is if I put a signal in there, yeah, he should be able to go. You Burke! You're supposed to go down the other way, not that way. Oh, you great big Jesse Bell. Right. Well, you're gonna be. Will you go to your depot? I don't think you will. I'm gonna have to sell you. You great big turkey. You great big turkey. I had to sell you. Right. Anyway, look, these things happen. I've got to repair this. I've got to make this longer and change this layout a little bit, which is not the end of the world. But anyway, I have waffled on for enough time. I have kept you On the seat of your pants, 2005. I think at this stage we'll just ignore time, shall we? And we'll just say how we're doing. How are we doing? Well, we're doing okay, actually, as it happens. So, yeah, let's look at all the lines. All of the lines are doing okay. I've just started these up, so they're bound to lose a bit of money to start with until we figure out how to make them work better. But everything else is doing fine. This is the little cargo trucks again. Only just started. They think they're moving logs, but they're not. So yeah, we're doing fine. We figured it out. 2005. Would you Adam and Eve it? I have no idea when you're going to come in next. I'm not going to make any promises. 2025. I might see you in 2025. I could see you then. I don't know how long the game runs on for. Whether it stops or it runs to an end, or whether it doesn't, just keeps on going. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying it. Do click the like button. Do subscribe to the channel. Do click the bell notification so you know when the next one is coming out. And I'll see you all again real soon. Ta-ta for now. PlayStation